Produce or podcast, whatever.
The level of dope at which we podcast.
It could be risen. Raised.
You know who else could be risen? Jesus. Which very well could get us into our first topic of the day.
Fair is fair. Welcome back to episode 20, people. This is your house, our rules. It has been a little bit since you boys got at it, but this is episode 20, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
I believe it is episode 20, yes.
We back.
We back with a vengeance. It's been a while. I know that. Part of that was me being sick. I had to take a little bit off there. I actually had like a stomach bug and went to the fucking emergency room one time.
Sick.
I'm fine. I was only there for a couple hours. They basically gave me an IV and shit like that, and like pumped me full of that and a couple like painkillers and stuff like that. But like, they took all my blood work and shit, and they told me that my whites were low, which I assume is my white blood cell count, but I'm not entirely sure. But basically, they told me they're just like it just means you're overstressed. They're like, we probably need to get those up. So they gave me another day off work, but then right back after that, I was back at work, and like, I had this severe lower abdomen pain, dude, and like I was like shitting and puking at the same fucking time. Like it was just absolute fucking disgusting. It was terrible, and like the lower abdomen pain continued mildly, but still there for like 2 to 3 weeks. Like I'm still just kind of getting over it or whatever. Haven't really been drinking anything since then. Haven't been doing much. I've been chilling a lot, so that's why we haven't really done that. And then like. We've also had a couple weekends where I think we tried to do something, and like you were in Nashville last weekend.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Nashville last weekend. In terms of, well, I'm glad you're out of it. Jesus, you don't need to be shitting and throwing up at the same time.
Yeah, dude, I was like driving home fucking because I was at work when I started getting sick. I walked into work like completely fine. The only thing that I had to eat that morning was like a cherry Pop-Tart, and I felt completely fine. Like, it was like 10, 11 o'clock. All of a sudden I started getting that lower abdomen pain, and I was in the bathroom a lot, and I was like, okay, something's going on here because it's getting worse. By the time I left, I was calling my boss like, you need to get here. I've got to go. I was the only one in the office. And I remember like I lived 40 minutes from my
that
house.
Sucks.
Yeah, so like I was holding in. I had to pull over early and go to my parents' house. Had my dad drive me to the ER. Shout out Glenn for sitting there. I was like laying down in the fucking lobby of the fucking ER. It was so packed. There were so many people, and like some people were just there, just chilling and stuff like that. And like I'm on the ground, like and when I'm not, I'm walking. And when I'm not, I'm going to the bathroom and shit like that. I only come out so I'm not clogging up the fucking bathroom the whole time. But yeah, it was fucking a train wreck. And like we sat there for an hour and a half before they finally fucking took me to a room and gave me an IV. So I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't the first one there, so
right.
Yeah, I'm back and better than ever, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder. That's the first time I've ever been to the emergency room.
I have been once, I think. Only once, 4th grade. Me and my cousins had watched too many like X Games things, and we were trying to stand on our seat of our bikes as we were riding down the hill. Mm-hmm. And I saw like headlights, and my immediate reaction, like we had the pegs on the back of the bikes. I like started reaching for the pegs. As I'm like halfway standing up on the seat, my other leg is just like trying to find a peg to step down onto. Mm-hmm. Couldn't find it. My immediate reaction is grabbing the handlebar brake, flip the thing, and then the peg of the bike got stuck in my leg.
Yeah.
And just took out a nice little gash of it. So yeah, that would be the only time that I was there, and it was a while. And then that crazy woman, Mrs. Murs, our 4th grade math teacher, made me still do all the homework from that night. It was like 64 questions.
Well, I remember that.
Catch a break.
I remember that. Yeah, like what was crazy about my situation was too, like I've cracked my collarbone in half before. I broke my arm, and I just went to urgent care for the both of those.
Yeah.
But like I don't get sick. Like I don't know about you. Like I get, unless it's, I was telling the doctors this. I was like, the reason why I even came here, I was like, because I was like I felt like on a scale of 1 to 10 pain, I was like at an 8 for a while there. Like it was pretty bad, and it was scaring me because like I don't usually puke unless it's alcohol induced.
Right.
So like. Yeah, I just thought I needed to go to the emergency room. Apparently, everything was completely fine with me. I'm glad we got that over with. But yeah, like I cracked my collarbone in half, broke my fucking
I do remember the collarbone.
And just went to urgent care, which was
arm.
equally as slow both times I did that. Yeah, I remember when I broke my bones, it was like a 3-4 hour process before I finally like sent me out of there.
That's just the dumbest thing in the world. It's always so goddamn slow. I do hate doctor's offices. That's why I just never go to doctor or dentist. I just don't. I never schedule appointments. Anything. It's probably been like 4 years for dentist for me, just because I get bored sitting in a waiting room for like 30 minutes. And doctor, I think I've gone once in the last like 7 years.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, shit, and the doctor's office and stuff have been a little bit different due to coronavirus and stuff like that. Like, I went to go get a checkup or whatever, and they wanted to do it over the fucking phone. I was like, well, whatever. It was like a little 30 second to a minute conversation, and I was like,
that's just so
weird.
Weird.
Whatever. It was free, so.
Well, yeah, we'll take that.
I guess so, but because I think it was because I got like I was getting insurance and stuff at my new job and stuff. But anyway. But
just get the general. I get
Shit has changed in the weeks that we have been absent from the podcast. Coronavirus is seemingly done for.
We won.
Yeah, it seems that we've finally beaten the coronavirus. Seems. Because I don't know, there's some weird shit going on in this world right now. So let's just get into it. I think that it was last Thursday. I don't remember the date, but today is June
something.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say June? No, it's May.
Or May. I think
May 17th.
It's May 17th. And Ohio, which is the state that we live in, has recently announced that all health precautions or whatever are going to be gone as of June 2nd.
Yep, June 2nd, no more masks. Businesses and like local places can still make you wear masks if they'd like to, but I don't know how any of that's going to work out. I just went to Nashville this past weekend, and it was
Nashville doesn't give a fuck.
I don't know if they've ever heard of it, but this was the first weekend there that there was no masks. It was so I don't know how they've been doing it, but they're like statewide, hey, you don't have to wear a mask, you don't have to social distance thing went into effect the Friday we got there, which wasn't planned. That was just great luck. But yeah, as packed as ever down in Nashville. I've been there like 3 or 4 times. It was as crowded as ever.
Yeah.
Rowdy time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it basically it was. I mean, it was nice being somewhere and like it just seemed like nothing was wrong at all.
My cousins live down in Nashville, and he told me I was actually down there like 2 weeks ago or something like that. But that was another reason why we didn't do a podcast, because I was in Nashville as well. Different times though. But yeah, he's told me he's like bro, Nashville hasn't given a fuck this whole time. Like I think Tennessee is apparently bad, but like the city of Nashville itself, they don't give a fuck.
They just like come at your own risk.
That's from what I understand. You said you were down there and it was like business as usual.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, so
and I've seen Snapchats from people like months ago. I feel like where they like will take a picture from a rooftop bar and everything is just still crowded as shit.
I mean, I was talking to my parents the other day, and my mom asked my dad, apparently, she's like, how long has he been going into places without a mask? And my dad was like, I think the whole time. And I was like, yeah, the whole time. It's like, I do it, like, I always forget the mask and no one tells me otherwise, so I'm getting better at it. Now, of course, I've gotten better at it. They're ending the fucking mask mandate. But yeah, I never wore a mask throughout the whole thing. Cincinnati in and of itself, unless you go to like downtown areas, like people really haven't given a fuck. I mean, for the most part, people are wearing masks, but like no one really says anything to you if you're not wearing a mask. I've seen a couple people without masks. For a couple months now, maybe not all too many, but for a couple months now, we've been able to go to like local bars around here in Cheviot, and like they haven't had many restrictions. But I did go to OTR for Miller's birthday in March, and OTR was
super strict.
Yeah, dude. Like it was like we went into Mr. Pitiful's, and if you know anything about Mr. Pitiful's, it's like a fucking shoulder to shoulder bar on Saturday nights, just fucking people drunk as hell listening to like club music, like pop club music and shit like that. And like they have everything separated out. We couldn't go in. When we went in, actually Miller got left outside with his girlfriend, and me, Max, Alexa, and whoever else was with us, like Bailey, we all walked in because they had 4 spots at the end of the bar. And they let us in, but they didn't let him in. I tried to talk to the dude. I was like, it's his fucking birthday, dude. Like, let him in. They're like, we'll just hang out around there. We don't have to go around everyone else. But yeah, everything was spaced the fuck out. And they still had like a DJ and shit like that. It wasn't the move.
No,
dude.
that just sounds like the worst idea. Those type of places, like you're only going because like, and I mean, I'm totally over like standing shoulder to shoulder, getting drunk, dancing in the middle of the place type of vibe. But you're only going to a place for that type of vibe. So when it's like dumbed down, you're like, why are we doing this? We could have stayed 5 minutes from home doing this. So
yeah,
that definitely stinks. I mean, I've worn a mask the entire time. I think the only times like when I genuinely forgot, like at local places like UDF, smaller places, if I've like walked up to the door, not had it, and started to turn back, there's been a couple of times where like the UDF person will be like, just come on in. Or like the local it's like it really just depends, I think, on like how big the place is, because hole in the wall bars I don't think cared almost at all.
No,
I mean
it's all about where you're at. And also your definition is a little bit different than mine, because like forgetting for me, if I stand up out of my car and close my door and I walk to the front of like the convenience store and I'm like, oh, I don't have a mask, I just say fuck it, I'm going in. I'm not going back for the mask. Yeah, so
which is fair. I had to do that like a trillion times, but yeah, no, I'm very happy that on June 2nd we're done with it. It's just such an annoyance, and I know people have to do it all of the time. I could probably do it long term, but I mean, would you rather do it with the mask or without the mask? It's without the mask a trillion % of the time.
To be completely honest with you, man, I'd rather have people wear masks than fucking push the fucking, not necessarily vaccine, but the agenda that they're pushing in some places with the vaccine. Because apparently Kentucky is like, if you're not vaccinated, then you have to wear a mask.
Right. And like, is that a lot of places, I presume?
I don't know, but I've seen like the Biden fucking commercial that says get vaxxed or wear a mask, and it's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely pushing as in like, if you haven't been vaccinated, then you're like you are a threat to society type of thing.
Yeah, dude, they're putting like cash incentives down in Ohio to get the vaccine. It's like a
$5 million lottery So in Ohio, if you have been vaccinated, your name just enters a pool, and I guess at the end of this month or a couple months, they're going to pull a name out of a hat and you get $5 million. So yeah, it's literally a vaccination pool.
Yeah. And I understand wanting to get people vaccinated, and like there are people who can't get vaccinations and stuff like that, and there is a reason to have everyone vaccinated, but like, to be completely honest with you, dude, I don't trust this goddamn vaccine. I don't trust it in the slightest, and I'm not going to put anything into my body that, like, I just don't trust, dude.
Yeah. No, I imagine a lot of people are like that. My reasoning for not having it is literally just, at this point, I hadn't had it the entire time. I'd be surprised if I'm not asymptomatic and had it at some point or something along those lines.
That's exactly the way I feel about it. And, like, I'm
not going to... At this point, it's, like, less than, like, I don't know how many people in Ohio last week would have had it, but I don't, and like the rate is so low, like 0.001% have a chance of like actually being affected by this. So it's like, why at this point, why do it?
Well, I think they're trying to protect that 0.001% chance or whatever, and I get it too. But at the same time, like, life goes on, man. Those people are usually older people or people who have to worry about this type of shit anyway. Because like it might be a little bit more deadly than the flu. It might be around the same or whatever, but you know, it kills people like the flu does. It fucking kills generally older people or people who have like failing livers and shit like that, people who already have a medical issue. And it's like, if you already have one of these medical issues, you got to keep in mind when you go out into fucking high like big public places and stuff like that, that you're susceptible to all kinds of disease, not
Right.
just the coronavirus, but they're pushing this fucking agenda with the coronavirus. And I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude, but I don't think that vaccine has been tested nearly enough. It's not enough time. It popped up out of fucking nowhere. You know that, right? Like,
Well, right.
They've talked about it the entire time, like the vaccine, but we never really got any updates. It was just like, boom, here's 3.
Well, yeah, they all came in the exact same time.
Yeah. And one of them got taken off the market for a while.
Yes,
it was related
I saw
to
Johnson & Johnson was, because there was health concerns or something.
Yeah, but I actually did learn that came back on, and it was for something with health concerns with women or something. It was a very low percentage or something like that. So now I don't want to say that like I won't get the coronavirus. What I am saying is now is not the time. It's just like, and like you said before, why?
Wait, you won't get the coronavirus or you won't get the vaccine?
I won't get the vaccine.
Okay, you said the coronavirus.
Oh,
I was
well.
like, okay, well, if you choose not to, I also say
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
want
the fucking vaccine is like, like people are getting sick for days taking this vaccine. Like,
I mean, I have heard people getting it and feeling really bad for a couple days afterwards. For the most part, everybody that I've known that's got it doesn't have anything major like that. My thing at this point is if I haven't gotten it this long, why would I get it at this point?
And
when,
that's
like, nobody even has it anymore. Like, I don't know anybody personally have heard anything in the last, like, 3 months at least.
I would agree. And I was about to agree
anybody-
with you on that aspect too. Like
Right.
I haven't had it the whole time. My mom actually told me the other day, she's like, I don't think anyone in our entire family, because I was actually, when I was at the ER and we were talking to the nurse, she was like, I don't think anyone in our entire family has gotten the coronavirus yet. And my family is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like my grandma is one of 17 and my grandpa was one of 19 on the Spilly side. I've got 5 aunts and uncles, probably over 30 cousins and stuff like that. And to think that like none of us have had the coronavirus yet that's crazy.
Right.
Like, and it might be a genetic thing too, because generally like we might be genetically more insusceptible to disease, but
Possibly. Yeah, it might be a genetics thing. Yeah, I don't know if any of my family members who hasn't had it, anything like that. But yeah, no, mine is just, if I haven't had it at this point, I don't know why I'd get it now when basically nobody is getting it.
And we've already established that like we've gone out in public without masks and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean,
if like
I've
we
gone to
haven't got it,
places-
then where the fuck are we going to get it and when?
Right.
Yeah.
So at this point, it just seems a little silly. But yeah, no, it's a very weird thing, like a huge push in terms of like public perception of like, oh, if you don't get this, then you're out to hurt me. Like if you don't get the vaccine, but I haven't gotten flu vaccine or flu shot or anything for like 10 years. But
Right.
I mean, and at this point, they're just as even as each other, basically on the scale of like dangerousness.
Yeah.
So
and I don't, like you said, I don't generally get the flu vaccination. I remember I did go to the doctors for something a couple years ago and they fucking brushed up on my vaccines or whatever. They were all fucking vaccines that I've had since I was a fucking kid. So I was like, yeah, fucking redose me with them. Go ahead. But this one's just too new. There's too many question marks about it. I see no reason to get it because it doesn't affect people like me as much, maybe somewhere down the line. But the real thing about it is, like what I was saying with Kentucky, with the fucking, some people have to wear a mask, some people don't. Like Ooby Dooby Festival, which Zach Nellum talked about on our last podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It actually happened. People went and they did use a fucking application that showed whether or not you got vaccinated or not.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
so you have to,
dude,
okay.
these are raising some serious fucking ethical questions and human rights issues, man. Like a cop isn't allowed to ask you your medical record. Nobody is allowed to know your medical record except you or your doctor. It's illegal for your doctor to fucking give that information out. So why the fuck should I tell Live Nation whether or not fucking I've got the vaccine or not, just so I can go see fucking Johnny Dickhead over at the fucking Mad Frog or some shit like that.
That's right. Yeah, no, I don't really understand it. Like, if people get it, go for it. Like, I understand wanting to get it, but I am not one of those people, so it's just very annoying that it's, like, being thrown in. Like, not even that I'm super, super against it. I don't really care. It's just, I don't think that I need it. I've been healthy enough. I think I'm fine at this point. It's not that I'm, like, super, like, oh, my God, fuck vaccines, blah, 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 blah.
I'm not
just
either.
Like, hey, I'm not going to get it probably, unless it came to a point. But I'm also at the point where it's like, hey, in order to travel, you have to have it. I'd be like, okay, well, fuck it, I'll get it. If it's literally going to hinder me that much, fine, I'll do it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm probably gonna fucking wait it out as long as possible, but I'll eventually probably need to get it. But where it's at right now, I just don't.
Right, and I have no idea if it's ever gonna get to that point. It seems trending in that area of being like, oh, if you're, like you can't.
I don't
cross certain state lines or can't go into different countries if you don't have the vaccination record. But
here's the thing about it, though. Like, I don't think that they're necessarily going to be able to do that. One, because this is America, and that is a pretty big human rights issue. But two, because I think that a lot of the reason why they're pushing the vaccine so much is because people are not getting it. Because people probably are fucking scared of it. People probably fucking feel the same way we do. Like, I either had it and I don't need to get the vaccine because now I have grown an immunity to it, or I haven't had it at all, so I'm probably immune to it. I'm asymptomatic. Right. It just doesn't make sense to me at this point. And I mean, we talked about the like fucking herd immunity or whatever that they said we might have to do back in the day. Like, it was to a point where it's like you might have to get it, so you grow an immunity to it and keep going. And now we have this vaccine about it. But to me, honestly, dude, from the people I have heard stories of from getting the vaccine to people who have actually had coronavirus, they're no different. No one I know who has had coronavirus, and it's a decent amount of people, have been sick for more than like a day or two. Some people lose their fucking sense of smell and taste, but like they don't actually have really bad symptoms for more than a day or two. They just had to quarantine for those 2 weeks.
Right. And at this, like, at one point, I totally get it. Like, I understand how big of a deal it was. We're just at a point now where it's like, okay, we're at such low numbers, we're at such high survival rates. Granted, we've always been at high survival rates, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still a ton of people dying. But we're at such a low level now that it's literally no different than like other, like we've just brought like the normal flu. It's basically the same thing. So yeah, I if it comes down to it, sure, I'll get vaccinated. It's not that big of a deal to me. But as it sits right now, I have no idea why I would need it. Yeah,
I've not. I'm gonna wait on that as long as humanly possible. Yeah. It just seems really sketchy to me.
It was like a lot of vaccines and stuff take years and years and years to actually come up with the right formulas, and they are able to test the after effects and everything along those lines. Yeah. And this one was thrown together in like a year and a half or whatever the heck it ended up being. Yeah. For it to actually go into to use. So no, people who are scared of like what it could have, what it could do in the long term, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So,
I mean, if you also look at fucking history, I actually do have a little interesting story about the first vaccine, of like the first ever vaccine. It was actually the smallpox vaccine, and it's fucking crazy how they transport this, because it was developed in the 1800s, and it was one of those things where it developed in Europe, but it wasn't a vaccine in the sense that you would think now. What they did was they noticed that like farmhands out in the country and stuff like that, they were not getting the
smallpox.
They were not getting smallpox. And what they realized is that at young ages, these farmhands and stuff like that would get this very similar like pox disease and shit like that. And they noticed that they were like less susceptible to getting it when they have had this as a younger kid. So what they would do is they would give people that vaccination or whatever, or give them that disease, and in which case they would never get the smallpox disease. But here's the interesting part about it, because we don't have airplanes back in the day, so how the fuck did they get it from Europe all the way over to the Americas? So you know what they did? They promised orphans a new life in the new world. And what they would do is they would bring like 30 orphans from Europe over to America for like a 3-month ship ride or whatever. Yeah. And what they would do is they would infect like 2 of them, keep them quarantined from the other ones, infect 2 more, and have it keep incubating for 3 months straight. And then when they would go over there, they would infect the entire city that they were dropped off in. My gosh. And the kids apparently actually did get like semi-decent lives or whatever. I don't think they like got mansions and shit like that, but I think they got put somewhere. But decent. Still, the fact that like,
what a wild way to do it.
That is a wild way to do it. I mean, it worked, and I guess at the time it was something that needed to happen in order, because smallpox was running rampant through fucking places back then. So, yeah, and now
what a wild world.
Now smallpox is like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Maybe we start doing that again. Who
Yeah,
knows?
but we can move on from coronavirus after that one. That was a lot of. I mean, it's been a lot of fucking our lives for the past 2 years. But
I mean, it has.
It's one of those things where like now that coronavirus is over, what else is fucking gonna end the world? Because the world's got to end here sometime soon. So
yes. It might be violence in the Middle East. We can jump into the next.
I was gonna go to the gasoline cans from that.
Oh, you know what? We can jump into the gas because that's all related.
Yeah, it's all doomsday related. People have definitely freaked out on this one. If you didn't know, the Colonial Pipeline got hacked by they're pretty sure it's a Russian hacking group or whatever that does ransomware, which is it's a program that is inserted into your computer systems, which will completely shut down all your systems until you pay a certain amount of money to the people who created the ransomware. So that's what they did to the Colonial Pipeline, and it was shut down. This is located in the United States. It was shut down for like 3-4 days, I believe, or something like that, and it caused a panic in the Southeast.
Dude, people were buying so much gas.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and that creates.
It was awesome. No, it wasn't.
Well, it wasn't awesome. It's awesome for content because it's so funny watching people like fill up Ziploc bags on the side of the road with gasoline because they're scared that it's somehow going to just never come back.
Dude, it was awesome. Wild. Dude, legitimate pictures of people with like plastic bags like that you could poke with a needle and it would just start spewing out full of gasoline. And it's like the government has fucking tried to keep us inside from the coronavirus for like the past year and like saying it's unsafe, and these motherfuckers are pumping gas and keeping it in bags in their fucking living rooms.
Awesome. I mean, awesome.
Because that's a safe idea.
I mean, there's an episode of like Always Sunny where they're filling up.
Oh, dude, I know.
Drums.
I thought of it immediately.
Of gas, and people were like, "Oh, sweet, I'll just sell it, or I'll buy like 50 of these and then resell them, like way higher price." And the guy who plays Mac tweeted it like because there's a picture of a dude and a lady with like 9 giant barrels full of gas.
Yeah.
And Mac, his like, I forget what his actual real life name, Rob McElhaney or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's like, "Holy shit, I've seen this episode."
Yeah,
amazing.
I've seen the memes of them like when they go to try and return the gas or whatever.
Yes,
but I'm pretty sure that whole episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia actually was related to like the last time the gas prices were this high.
It was,
yeah, because back in the day, I think it was in the Obama administration, it was like gas got really fucking high there. I remember at one point it being like $4 a gallon, like around there and shit like that, and like that was absolutely crazy. But yeah, people weren't like buying as much gas because the thing was so high, so they're like, let's buy the gas ourselves and resell it.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Well, they thought it was like, because
and then they try to return it.
Everybody in America thought it was going to go up to like $10 a gallon. Mm-hmm. So it was like, we'll buy it at like $4 and then like resell it at like $9.
And in real reality, I'm sitting over here and I'm looking at the entire situation. I was like, they're either going to pay this company to reopen this fucking gas station, or the more likely scenario, they're just going to get a couple of fucking Silicon Valley tech nerds to come in for a couple days and fucking get all the ransomware out of there, and then they'll restart as usual.
Right. And do you know how it even ended? Because I know it ended. It ended pretty quickly. Not. But I never even read what the solution ended up being, whether we paid them or whether.
I would imagine that we probably did not pay them. We probably found a way around it. I would imagine that they had a pretty secure. I'd imagine it was pretty secure too. So props to the Russian people that got in there. But
that's always insane to me that things that large scale can still be hacked. Because I don't really understand hacking. I'm not great with computers, so the level of detail that people are able to like meticulously work around the system and get in like backdoors and shit is crazy to me in general. But for something as large as like a pipeline that runs basically the entire East Coast can just get hacked into is fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you're talking about Russia and China, I know Russia for a fact, like it's a known fact that they have government-backed hackers that will break into the United States businesses and stuff like that. Bastards. And it's like these aren't like government necessarily bought. They're like just backed. Like they just let them do it.
Yeah, they won't stop them. They won't like pay them, but yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, I mean, if you want to keep doing it, sure.
Yeah, and I think there are some that actually are paid to do that. I don't know, but
maybe
the cyber warfare is fucking. People are always concerned about like going to literal war with Russia and stuff like that, but. Max has actually said this before, that we're too advanced for another world war, which we are. We have like nuclear weapons and stuff now, and like you can launch a missile from here to fucking Moscow and fucking hit it with like pinpoint accuracy and shit like that. Like we are, but when you think about it, if it comes down to cyber warfare, imagine if like China could just shut down the Eastern Seaboard's electric fucking power grid. We'd be fucked.
Yeah, I mean, and you really don't have to shut it down for long.
Yeah,
like if you just shut it down for literally like if you just blink the entire system, it's gonna cause extreme panic.
Yeah. I don't know if it necessarily is even possible right now.
Well, right.
Because I mean, we would be able to defend, but still, shutting down an entire electrical grid to a certain fucking area would be absolutely devastating. It would be one of those things where like, what do we do now?
And that's probably the direction
like
that wars are gonna head in. Is more like internet-based, electrical-based, because that's how we live our life now. So, I mean, yeah, if you really want to mess a country up without bombing people and killing everybody, literally train up hackers, screw their system up, and they kind of die from the inside.
I mean, if another country could take over our fucking our power system, like what are we supposed to do? We just have to give up.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be kind of a cool way to win a war. Like if somebody's about to like send a nuke at us, and then we like go in the back door and like just set off the nuke inside of its own tank. Yeah. But that shit could happen, dude. You never know.
We have precautions against shit like that happening. I'm pretty sure that like doing something to that extent probably is not even possible.
It might not be at all.
So
I just have no idea how tech works in the grand scheme. So I'm always like, they can reprogram my fridge from China if they want to.
I mean, if it's got the right wiring, if you're connected to like an internet device,
right?
Like all that shit,
anybody can get to it.
Yeah, you can get a hold of it, information on there. You can fucking see what they're seeing, all that bullshit. It's a real thing. But yeah, gas and shit.
Speaking of gas in the Middle East, people are dying.
Ooh,
still.
That was actually a decent one.
That was a good one.
That was a decent one. Yeah.
But gas comes from there.
So if you guys haven't been paying attention to this, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't been paying attention to this very much. And I'm also not going to lie, I haven't seen much of this until today, even posted on the internet, because for some reason we're not talking about it. But the Palestinian and Israel and Jewish people of Israel right now and the surrounding countries are like legitimately firing missiles into towns and hitting targets.
Yep. There's one picture, and you just told me about this. If you literally like type on Google Israeli missiles launching, you will see a picture, and it literally looks like a fireworks show. It's just neighboring countries shooting goddamn missiles at each other.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like 25 fucking missiles in midair fucking going at each other and shit like that.
Yes.
But like it's weird to think, because like people think that there's like no defense system against missiles, but the defense system against missiles is other missiles. Correct. So like I believe it's called the Iron Dome is what Andre, who told me about this, is. Yep. Yeah, so they're shooting missiles over into Israel, and or I'm not sure if it's all taking place in Israel, because the whole fucking situation that they have had for thousands of years and is going on now with the fucking Middle East and the Holy Lands is just mind baffling. Like, I don't know. But anyway, they have a defense system that is based around shooting down missiles with other missiles, and that's what you're seeing in those other pictures. And some of them are getting through. Like there were, I believe, the journalists, like the United States journalists and stuff, are a lot of them are being pulled out of Israel right now because of how dangerous.
Just because of how dangerous, how high the tension is. When I read it, it basically a summary of everything, and you really never know with this type of stuff because everybody blames everybody. You read one article, it's definitely this reason. You read the next one, it's totally a different reason. Yeah. The one that everybody seemed to kind of come to an agreement on is Palestinians are blaming Israel for being in Gaza in killing, like bombing Hamas leaders, which is a militant group over there. So Palestinians started firing at Israel. Israel set up this giant, their defense system basically blocking all this, and then went and fired back on Palestinians and killed a shitload more people than the Palestinians ever killed. Oh, well, yeah,
we're talking
which makes
about
sense because it's a powerful military.
Yeah, I mean, and Israel is also the biggest ally to the United States empire.
Yes, which is causing that was another big thing of like people writing these articles wanted Americans to be more outraged that we are basically continuing to supply Israel and making them like a bigger Goliath, surrounded by a bunch of like David countries in terms of
this is what I'll
military power.
This is what I'll say about that. When it comes down to numbers, the Jewish people over in that area of the world are completely outnumbered. When you look at the scale of things, now this is dated information. This is from at least 2010. When you look at like the population of the entire world, did you know that when there was 6 billion people in the world, a sixth of them were Catholic, and no, a third of them were Catholic and a sixth of them were Muslim.
Really?
And yeah, most of the Muslims are coming from that area. And when you look at the like Jewish people on the scale of that, it's like barely even a percentage.
Okay.
So like Israel is the only predominantly Jewish country, I think, in the entire world. And when it comes to like having the surrounding like Syria, Jordan, and Lebanon and shit like that, it's like half of a fraction percent of like how many people there actually are over there. So it, like they have that one little area and they want it just as badly as the Muslim people do because it's the fucking Holy Land and that's where Jesus and Muhammad and shit walked. But at the end of the day, like I think the reason why the United States is so heavily involved over there with Israel is because they're outnumbered and they're our source of they're like our pillar in the Middle East because no one in the Muslim countries want to fucking have aid from the United States. Right. They fucking hate us. If you're talking about a place in the world that like it's actually kind of unsafe to be an American, you're talking about the Middle East. Yeah. So that's probably why we have our fingers dipped in Israel because also they have oil over there. So,
right.
Yeah, that's why we're as involved in it as we are. But, you know, you're not going to be happy about the fucking moves that the military is making in the United States of America because we are a greedy fucking country. That we are the biggest terrorists in the entire world.
It's still insane to me that like, and I know this has just been happening since the beginning of everything, is the fact that religion is at the center of all conflict in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like
it's all about the land that Jesus and Muhammad and all the prophets and everyone walked on way back in the day. It's the Holy Land, dude, and they've been fighting over it for thousands of years.
I wonder if
this fucking war is like over 10 times longer than the entire history of the United States of America.
And it's crazy. And it's also like I was just looking at all of this stuff before we started recording just to kind of get more information. And it's funny they like break down the wars like every like 3 years, like, and then this war started, and then this war started. It's like, well, it's kind of all just one giant war if it's starting every three goddamn years.
It's modern day crusades, bro.
It's fucking crazy.
It is literally the modern day crusades.
Yeah, I just, and at this point, you just like people who are like, oh, if we do this, it'll stop it. It just won't.
No, nothing.
Like, nothing is ever going to stop it.
There is nothing to stop it, and that's why when Andre was telling me about it, he's like, "Do you hear about this shit that was going down in Israel and Palestine?" I was like, "The same shit that goes on every other day in Israel with Israel and Palestine." Fucking.
Yep.
Even though it's not Palestine anymore, but the Palestinian people. You know what? Never mind. Yep. But yeah, this war between the two. The religions over in that area is just absolutely, it's heartbreaking to think that people are this violent towards each other in the name of something that is supposed to be so pure and so good.
Yes. What was that show that we used to watch, that Max used to watch, where it was those people who were like preachers and they got rich off of being preachers? Do you remember
I
that
don't remember
shit?
the name of the show, but yeah, it
Also,
was.
the preachers on TV.
Oh, I think it was called.
I had no idea how rich they were.
Yeah.
Oh my grief.
Those aren't Catholic people, though.
I mean,
They're
just,
Christian.
Well, right.
So, same thing.
What was that show called? You were about to say.
I think it's
know
Evangelist.
Adam Levine. I think that's it too.
Yeah, because they're like that evangelist sect of the Christianity or whatever. They're not sect because they're all different forms of Christianity, but the same religion at the same time. But yeah, it's based on those people who like live in those multi-million-dollar mansions and have like multi-million-dollar churches, and they're like, praise Jesus, and there's like entire orchestras playing, and like people are singing in the crowd, and like they get tax cuts and stuff like that, and they're really just shitty people, but they make a bunch of money in the name of God. So but yeah, it's what's the dude's name? He does all the shows. Danny McBride.
Oh yeah, what is his name? What do you mean?
Is that the one?
Oh yeah, Danny McBride is one of the guys in it. Yes.
Yeah.
Danny McBride, John Goodman, Adam Devine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big cast. I don't know who the woman is in it, but yeah, no, it's a massive cast.
I know who she is. I've seen her everywhere. But yeah, it's a pretty dope.
It's a funny
cast.
show.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. These are just absolute despicable people having like gay three-ways in fucking dominatrix uniforms and shit like that, and it's a wild fucking show. It's hysterical. Yeah, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's definitely a comedy, but yeah.
Well, speaking of not being taken seriously by you, but by me, did you see that Fast and Furious came out with a trailer?
Why do you talk about Fast and Furious
I just
all the
love
time
that.
on this fucking podcast?
I specifically do it because I know that you don't like it that much, and I'm like, if you go into it and you're just like, I want to be entertained, it's gonna entertain your tits off.
I don't know how these motherfuckers make money anymore, dude.
I mean, there are so many people that go see these movies, me included.
That's absolutely wild. I honestly cannot believe it. That, like, I know you still will go see these movies because you're fucking you.
Yeah.
You're just a big ass kid.
They're awesome.
But I can't see how, like, anyone in their right mind who actually likes enjoying cinema at all fucking can go and watch those movies. And, well, maybe that's where I go wrong, because I guess I hold people to a higher
well, yeah, it's like you basically, if you're sitting there and being like, none of this makes sense, like we're just redoing the same storyline like 18 different times, but you're going to have a bad time.
I can get into a fun action movie, though. I just can't do the fucking over the top. My thing about it is, if you're going to put fucking Transformers in the goddamn movie, put Transformers in the movie. So if you want to make these some genetic super soldiers and shit, just doing some wild shit, that's fine. But these are race car drivers from fucking LA, dude.
Well, they are, yeah, at their core. They just drive pretty good, and they know a bunch about engines.
That's basically all it is. So,
but now they're like top CIA, and that's the normal chain of command.
I did see the new one, because fucking John Cena is fucking Dom's
dude.
brother. Like,
absolutely, he is Dom's brother. There's a part where they go in space. Not those two, but there is a part where two of the cast members are in space. I can't remember specifically who, but yeah, they go into space. So be on the lookout for Fast and Furious 9, everybody.
Damn, it's like Friday the 13th, fucking Jason X, I think it was called, where they just...
Oh, don't they go to space?
It's Jason X. It's the one where fucking Jason goes to space. Dude,
I like that I just said that doesn't make sense, but here I am.
Yeah, no shit. I remember watching that movie, and it was like this thing where, like, I believe, it's been a while since I've watched it, but it was like Earth has been completely abandoned, and it's just just a wasteland or whatever, and humans don't exist there anymore, and the humans that have left and they came back for something, and like when they go down there, they find Jason still alive in a cryo chamber, and fucking they bring him on their spaceship, and he just goes around and starts murdering people because he got drowned as a kid. And it's like it was actually the 10th Friday the 13th movie they made, and that's what they gave us. It's like, when you start putting shit in space, you've gone too fucking far. Well, actually, no, I take that back. When you start putting shit in space, you've gone way too fucking far.
Yeah, that's probably 3 episodes, three movies or 4 movies too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still get excited for the old Fast and Furious, those sons of bitches.
I have nothing else to say on the Fast and Furious.
Well, there you go.
Fucking the side of things, man.
Dogecoin.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Back.
Okay.
Well, it went way up and then dropped way down, and then it kind of met itself in the middle. It's still way up from like when we originally started talking about it.
So now it's seeming to be more of a legitimate crypto coin that people are trading. And I know that like there's people out there who say there's nothing that backs it or whatever. I'm still making fucking money on Dogecoin. So
the people like that are like, oh, this isn't going to make you money. It's like, well, it already technically, like if I just wanted to cash out, it would have made me money. So that doesn't make any sense.
And everyone's talking about it like, oh, it's just a pump and dump. Of course it's a fucking pump and dump. It's a fucking easy way for people to make a lot of money and just fucking sell out and keep what they had.
Yeah.
So I was like, I missed out on it. Like I told you, I got, I don't know if I've said this, not even got into the game late. So I was trading around like fucking 2-3 cents or something like that when I first bought into it, and my cousin Jack put me in this investment page with his friends and stuff like that, and it's not really what I thought it would be. It's mostly just people commenting like, dude, I made so much money on this crypto today. And like the one thing advice that like I got from there when I first started out was people were like, they're like, yo, it's a pump and dump, don't worry about it or whatever, you should invest elsewhere or whatever. So I did, and a few weeks passed, and it shot from like 2 cents up to like 40 cents.
Yes.
And then at that time, I was like, okay, well, it's at 40 cents. If it only goes to $1, I'm only going to double my gains, so I'm just going to fucking sit with it. I'm just going to take it out and start engaging, doing what I've been doing with other cryptocurrencies. Right. Well, then it shot up to 75 cents.
Yeah.
And it didn't make it up to $1. And I was like, well, at this point, if it went up to 75 cents, it didn't go all the way to $1. I was like, this is probably going to dip down. And then it's going to probably fucking slowly go up that you can trade and shit like that. And sure as shit, I remember being outside of Mad Frog and telling someone, was talking to him about it. And they're like, dude, it's dipping hard. And I was like, yeah. And tomorrow it's going to shoot right back up. And they were like, dude, there's no way. They're like, it's crashing. So what happens? It dips down to like 40 cents. And this is where I fucking got in at. It dipped down to 40 cents. I bought somewhere around like 45, high 45s, something like that. And I bought in and well, like, dude, I was watching like a hawk all fucking day. It went all the way up to like 65 cents that day. And I sold out of it.
Right.
See, now the problem that I had was I had made like a decent chunk of change on fucking Dogecoin that day, and it was all from taking everything out of my other investments and throwing it into Dogecoin. Well, my smart ass was like, you know what? I'm going to be able to fucking day trade this now and just make buku money. And I bought in at some bad times, dude. I bought it at some bad times. I lost a lot of money trying to fucking figure out how Dogecoin was going to work.
Trying to figure out, because none of it does.
No, it doesn't work like other cryptocurrencies, man. It went up to 60 and it dipped all the way back down to 40, and it's been anywhere from 40 to like 60.
Right.
Since then.
It just fluctuates.
And like every time I buy in, I start seeing it fucking spike up real quick, and I'm like, fuck it, sell everything, throw it in, and it just fucking dips right back down. So
it is, and at this point, so it's such a tiny amount of money that I actually put into it. I'm like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So I'm just gonna try to wait it out as long as possible until it gets to $1. And then probably cash it out there. But I hate it because I read all these things and they're like, this could make it to $5. This could make it to $10.
Well, what I was saying, and keep in mind, I don't know anything about this, but I have been on my cryptocurrency game here since February. So I can speak a little bit on it. God damn, why do I keep forgetting?
I mean, you just keep getting lost in the sauce, brother.
I do. I'm sorry.
Well, to keep the conversation going, I know that specifically
I'll probably end up cutting that part out.
Elon Musk and Mark Cuban have said that they will start accepting it as payment for certain things. I forget what those certain things are.
Oh.
But they will start accepting them for payment. I think Dogecoin, you can trade in for like beers at a Dallas Mavericks game or something like that. Like, really? If you give them a certain number of Dogecoin. I don't know how transferring that shit works at all.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. That's just what Mark Cuban says. And I don't know if that's current or if that's
I don't think that's a thing whatsoever, because like it doesn't hold any real value to it. And like Tesla just announced that they were going to start using Bitcoin. which is the best-selling cryptocurrency by
Right.
far. It's at like $60,000. It's like higher
look it
than
up.
most international currencies.
Why is Elon Musk the first thing that comes up is Elon Musk Israel?
He probably said something.
He
about
might
Elon
have. He
Musk,
might
but
have.
Yeah, I don't think that Dogecoin is being traded. But what I was thinking about before I fucking forgot was, I was talking and I think that Dogecoin is going to have a day here where it goes from like 40, 50 and literally skyrockets up past a fucking dollar.
You think it will?
Yes, and I think it's going to be one of
hope
those
so.
things where like it gets up to $1 and people like start fucking trying to sell and shit, and it just kind of hangs in the balance. They're at $1, and then it'll shoot past, and then it'll probably get to like $1.50 or something like that. Dip down, fucking calm down a little bit, probably fucking shoot back down,
Way
maybe
down.
maybe below $1, and then at that point, people might even fucking forget about it. But I think it's become such a meme at this point that it'll probably end up being a legitimate fucking
It honestly
cryptocurrency
might.
that you can trade.
So that's what Elon Musk tweeted. Should Tesla start accepting Doge as
Okay,
payment?
he asked that, he tweeted that out as like a question.
Yes, he did. But there's also
That's just a joke.
well, it might be a joke.
Yeah, there's no way that he's.
And then the
actually-
Mark Cuban one. The Mark Cuban one. There's also one out there on that son of a that's saying.
Well, I've seen a lot about Mark Cuban and Elon Musk saying shit about Dogecoin, and that's when it actually did plummet. That one day was when Elon Musk went on SNL. People thought it was going to shoot up, and it had the reverse reaction. Like people started buying into it, and then all the big dogs in there were like, "Yeah, we're selling. We're gonna get this bag real quick."
Yeah. So let's see. He's got a lot of things on it. We're gonna keep talking because this is bad podcasting if we just read this thing. So the thing of the article is basically saying Mark Cuban says Dogecoin being used as a valid payment mechanism could be a reality. I don't know what the timeline on this is. I'm trying to read this.
Yeah,
But I just remember seeing like headlines of basically him and Elon Musk. That's the only reason I brought it up is both of them being like, oh, you know what? This could actually be a thing.
They're probably alluding to the fact that the Dogecoin is probably going to become a legitimate cryptocurrency at this point because it is so interwoven with our pop culture and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is a direct quote from Cuban. The Mavericks had decided to accept Dogecoin as payment for Mavs tickets and merchandise for one very important reason. Earth-shattering reason, because we can. That's why we have chosen to do so. So we will take Dogecoin today, tomorrow, and possibly forevermore.
How does that work, though?
I don't know. That's the
Like,
thing.
how do
I have
you
no idea how
trade-
you transfer,
Because
or if there's like an app that
I-
you can specifically transfer your Dogecoin
So-
to another like system.
So I use Binance.us is where I trade on, and if I want to withdraw money, it has to be in US dollars, Bitcoin, or BUSD, which is like, I think it's BUSD, is Binance's actual cryptocurrency that is valued at like $530 or something like that. So they're all like pretty big dogs in the fucking,
Right.
in the fucking, even Ethereum, which is shooting up like a motherfucker. I don't think you can physically hold those anywhere except for like trading.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to really know how to do this.
I'm
Maybe
wondering
there
if
is
it's
some
just like I'm wondering if it's something along the lines of like you can only use it in their online store. You pick to pay with Dogecoin instead of like the Bitcoin or Visa or whatever the other options are.
But that's the
and then
point.
there's some way from there
How
to
do-
like transfer the Dogecoin into their account.
it has to
Which
be
is basically a stock account.
it has to be
very
some
weird.
it has to be some third party thing that you can trade Dogecoin on, because there's no way to
There must
physically
be.
like put Dogecoin in I don't know. Actually,
All
you
the
can.
cryptos would kind of work like that then if that's the problem. with
actually,
Doge.
you know what might be what it might be now that I think about it a little bit more, because I used to own fucking Bitcoin back in the day, when I was trying to do shit on the dark web or whatever, which I've admitted before. I was trying to buy some stuff on the dark web with fucking Bitcoin, but because I just wanted to see what the fuck was going on. That's a side story. That's a story for another time.
Fair.
But basically what you do is you take real life money and you transfer it over into Bitcoin, and then you have it stored in these digital wallets that hold Bitcoin. So I'm guessing, now that I think about it a little bit more, that you can probably do that with just about any cryptocurrency. It's just whether or not the place will actually accept it as payment. So maybe they have applications now that you can use those wallets with Dogecoin in them to do that.
They must.
Yeah.
So apologize to me. You said that it wasn't real.
It's not real.
Okay. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I still would be.
Well, Mark Cuban said it.
Well, Mark Cuban's a fucking idiot.
He said that his organization is taking the money, and here you are just saying slanderous shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. That's a bit wild, man.
It is wild, and yeah, who knows the long term. But I think that's the only reason I'm holding it, is because people just keep saying crypto's the future, and it might not be at all, and it might just be morons on Reddit who are just like, hold the fucking line. But here I am, seeing the memes, and
dude,
being like, I'm part of the army, baby.
I'm kicking myself in the ass for even pulling out of fucking Dogecoin, because I had like some money in there that I just wanted to sit on for a while, and like, these motherfuckers convinced me to sell out of it, and like,
you never know.
I mean, I'm not gonna say they did. I convinced myself.
Well,
out
right,
of it,
you read enough articles,
but it was based on people who like actually know the fucking stock exchange. They've been doing it for years and shit like that. So. But this thing with the cryptocurrencies, man, is it's not following the same rules as other stocks and stuff like that.
Not at all.
It's been way down this past week. Like I've lost a lot of money, and I'm going to keep it in there until it returns to where it was before I left. But like the stock market and the crypto has crashed real hard this week. But it'll still come back up. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. If you look at the trends on like all the graphs and stuff, they're all just steadily going up. Yeah. There's not one of them that's coming down. If you're talking about actual stocks, there's like some that are just absolutely plummeting and shit like that. And it's one of those things where everybody is getting into it right now, and that's why it is. It's kind of Dogecoin might have created a fucking whole entire generation of like stock traders.
I mean, it's literally just like made up, and everybody knows it's made up, but people just keep buying it because it's a meme. Like, it's like the power of the internet.
Yeah, and it all started with
making this into a thing out of thin air.
Yeah, and it all started with the fucking the like GameStop and AMC thing.
Right.
But yeah, we're literally making something out of thin air, and you know what? You know what's crazy? It would be great to see a generation of people who are fucking making money on doing things like trading stocks, especially if you're looking at the fucking economy and the way things are right now. Like, bro, we can't fucking get people to work at our job. There people aren't fucking applying places. Everyone's on unemployment, just collecting a fucking check.
Everybody's
right
still
now.
Collecting, and I don't know, is the check still like, because at some point it was like $600 extra per paycheck period that you would get during COVID, but is that still going on? Do you have any idea?
I believe so.
It makes sense, because there's a lot of people that are just like, oh shit, I can stay on unemployment and get paid more than when I was employed.
Yeah, I don't like. We've had a fucking a thing out, like a job search thing out for months. Mm-hmm. And we haven't got a single person to apply. The only person who did came in and looked at it and told us that he was going to work with us. And this was a while ago before we were really trying to get on like an actual another person. Right. So they were going to like 1099 him or whatever it is, kind of under the table type thing. I don't think it was under the table because it's 1099, but they would. Well, right. It was going to be like work when we need you type
like
thing.
Like a contract.
Yeah, basically. And he agreed to it and just never showed up. Oh. So.
I just don't understand any of it.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I don't know. We can't get people. Apparently, people aren't working right now.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know many people who don't have a job right now, but apparently there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
that are just
that's kind of
checks.
The same thing. Yeah, I don't know anybody personally that's doing this, but every like article will say like, "Holy shit, this is kind of a problem that nobody wants to go back to work."
Yeah, I do. I do know people who are doing it. I just don't know people who are really close to me that are doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe that has something to say about our little group, man.
Yeah, I mean, fuck work. You know? I don't hate the idea overall.
Dude, I fucking
being like, you know what, you're gonna pay me extra. I get so bored though. Fuck.
Dude, I was even saying this to my boss the other day. I was like, you know how much I could have focused on like my creative aspect if I would have just, you know, worked when we needed you type thing. Yeah, and he agreed to it and just never showed up. Oh. So not been deemed an essential employee the day after fucking everything shut down.
Yeah.
Because I've been working this entire time.
Yeah,
I had 1 day off.
Yeah.
1 day off. I could have focused on so much more if I was getting paid more than I am right now weekly for sitting on my fucking ass. Mm-hmm. And like, I know people who have been like, yeah, I got so much more done because like I haven't had to work an actual job. I've just been collecting a check every week.
That's just wild.
And I was like, it makes me want to quit my job and just take a year off and see what the fuck happens. Because like people have blown up because of COVID.
I mean, people, it's just, yeah, I would never be able to make that type of a commitment because I'd be like, well, what if they just, like, I go on unemployment and next week they're like, nope, no more checks. Like, no more of the extra on top. I would never be able to actually commit to it.
That's the thing. You can always collect unemployment.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
it has to be under the right circumstances.
Incentives that they're giving out now.
Yeah, it has to be under the right circumstances. But yeah, one of those things where like if you were collecting it because of COVID and all of a sudden they lifted the mandate that they are now, which is interesting. I wonder if they're going to keep giving out like.
Yeah, I don't know how that'll work.
Yeah, how do we transition in that? That's what I'm saying about this coronavirus thing, man. There's just so many fucking question marks that are going on in the world right now. I just don't know. Yep. We'll see though, and we're going to keep you updated on everything that's going on because. I see shit getting a lot more wacky than it already has. It might be over. The mask might be over, but I don't think that we're ever going to fully recover from.
The fallout from it, I think, is just going to be a long time. Like, just things are just going to be different. I think there's just going to be small aspects that are different for forever, most likely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and we'll see what those things are that go into effect because some of them I think might be an overall good thing. Like I'm not opposed to people wearing masks, fucking around and stuff like that, staying a little bit more cleansely. But there's some other shit that could pop up that might cause some fucking issues. So we'll keep y'all posted though. This was episode 20 of Your House Our Rules. I think we're good to cut it right here, right?
Yes. Yeah. Hey, love you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys too. And I'm sorry. We kind of... hold up. I'm going to fucking...